What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Big Gucci Afro. Soldier Captain back here once again. How's the wife? How's the kids? Great, perfect, amazing. Today, we're going to be checking out when dirty cops get sentenced to life in prison. Now, most of y'all know I've had my fair share of run-ins with the law. Not because I'm a criminal, but because I'm black. I remember one time I was just trying to get the mail from my mailbox. A police cruiser just so happened to be going by, and he asked me, I shit you not, why are you stealing the mail from this person's house? I'll never forget it because they didn't believe me, and it took a trip to the precinct and a 25-minute interrogation for them to realize, like, yo, that's his house. He's just trying to get the mail from his house. And I'm like, that's literally what I said from the start. This is just how the dice rolls, you know? So I don't get mad. This is just how it happens. With all that being said, we're going to get into this. You guys let me know in the comments if this afro or just like my regular hair looks cooler. Let's get into it. But before that, let's talk about Raid Shadow Legends. For those who do not know, Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play mobile game available for Android, iOS, and Windows devices. It's got over 700 amazing champions that come with many different strategies for battle against dungeon bosses, PvP arena, and even Doom Tower. The game also comes with amazing lore that you can explore in a new limited-time series called Raid Call of the Arbiter. This series will tell you about the background of the characters as well as their stories. Raid is also adding some new characters from the series that you can use as champions as well, such as Artak, the mighty orc warlord. He'll be available to everyone and free. All you gotta do is log on to Raid for 7 days between now and July 24th, and he's yours. So what are you waiting for? Go download Raid Shadow Legends today. And for new players who click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, you'll get a free starter pack with cool in-game loot. All you gotta do is click the link in the description and pass the tutorial, and bam, you're in the clear. Each completed tutorial supports the channel greatly, so if you want to help out, this is the best way to do it. With all that being said, thank you so much to Raid for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it.
For years, these corrupt cops reigned with impunity, abusing their power and weaving a web of deceit and crime that ensnared the very citizens they swore to serve.
Story of my life.
Drug trafficking, extortion, and even cold-blooded murder stained their hands.
Holy
Your Honor,
shit.
please do not send
What?
me to prison. I have roamed, but I'm not ruined. I still have a lot
Is
of
he
good
crying?
with me.
The city trembled beneath their iron grip, cowering in fear as their dark empire expanded, entangling the innocent in its malevolent clutches.
This narrator
But every
sounds
empire,
like he
no matter
was
how
like
vast,
it was like a
harbors
victim
cracks
of
within
like
its
these people
foundation,
too.
and the sins
Just the
of
way
these
he's using
corrupt
big
officers.
words.
Now at 5:30, it was sentencing day for a police officer who was convicted of attacking a male nurse at Jackson Memorial Hospital. That attack happened back in May of last
that
year.
Mr.
That
Clean?
officer was fired for that incident. He had been with the Miami police force for more than 20 years.
And now he has to pay the price for slamming the nurse to the ground.
But who are these corrupt cops, and what heinous acts did they commit? Let us uncover the truth. David Oliver, the former police chief of Brimfield Township, David Oliver.
Yeah, David just sounds
once
like a
known for
criminal
his
name.
blunt
Like
and
it just
humorous
sounds like a
commentary on Facebook about criminals, found himself facing a harsh reality when he became the subject of criminal charges. Charged with multiple misdemeanors including unlawful restraint, attempted theft, simple assault, and unauthorized use of property.
Holy
Oliver's
shit.
fall from grace was met with a sense of irony. During his court proceedings, the judge presiding over the case labeled Oliver himself a mope, a term he had used to describe criminals in his colorful Facebook posts. Oliver pleaded no contest to charges such as attempted theft in office and assault, specifically involving Crystal Casterline, a female officer who accused him of harassment. Casterline expressed her disappointment with the plea agreement, highlighting her love for life, her dedication to marathon running, and the joys of being a mother to her little girls.
That's nice.
She admitted her naivety in understanding how domestic violence could escalate to such an alarming degree. Casterline detailed allegations of Oliver hugging her, which then escalated to groping, trapping her, and coercing her into dancing with him.
Oh, burn him!
While Oliver disputed many of the allegations against him, he chose to plead guilty to all charges in an effort to move forward with his life. Throughout the hearing, Oliver's resistance became apparent as he reluctantly entered a no-contest plea. The judge handed down a sentence of 2 years of probation and restitution, effectively putting an end to Oliver's law enforcement career.
You know what the real crime here is? That hairline. Look at that. It looks like a boomerang. Like, look at that. Too bad he couldn't get sentenced for that. I mean, God, shit, if I was the judge.
Michael Dautreau. This is Michael Dautreau, a decorated officer hailed for his dedication and service to the community.
New Jersey.
Engulfed in a tempest of criminal charges, bringing
What
his
this nigga do?
promising career to a devastating halt in 2017. Dautreau's ascent through the ranks had been swift, his star ascending as he donned the prestigious title of sergeant in 2011.
Is that good?
Praise followed his every step, for he was seen as a shining example of the honorable law enforcement officer. But alas, his facade of righteousness concealed a dark underbelly.
These big-ass words, I cannot keep up with this guy.
The federal charges laid bare the truth that Dotro had long sought to conceal. Attempted obstruction of justice and conspiracy to tamper with witnesses stained his record, marking a staggering betrayal of the law he had sworn to uphold.
Wow!
In a rare moment of candor, Dotro pleaded guilty, acknowledging the gravity of his transgressions and the breach of trust he had
Witness
committed.
tampering?
The halls of justice resounded with his admission, a resolute acknowledgement of his
That means you willingly, knowingly put people behind in prison for no reason?
Delivering a sentence that reverberated through the courtroom. Dotro, now clad in a somber green prison jumpsuit, maintained an eerie composure, his stoic facade untouched by the weight of his punishment. The judge, unyielding in the face of pleas for leniency.
Yo, why did he? What kind of vocabulary? Yo, who taught this nigga this vocabulary?
Trust by one
Jesus!
With upholding the law. The sentence handed down, a formidable 20 years behind bars, stood as a testament to the severity
What the
of Dotro's
fuck?
offenses and the unforgiving nature of justice.
Holy shit!
Gripped by anticipation, were left confounded by Dotro's lack of emotional response. A man condemned for crimes of such magnitude, one might have expected remorse to emanate from his being, a flicker of guilt.
Hell no, not
or a
with that
shred of
beard.
contrition.
Remorse?
Yet any signs of remorse or repentance underscored the gravity of his crimes and the unsettling absence of guilt in the face of his sentence. Dotro, in a feeble attempt to salvage what remained of his tarnished reputation, expressed his regret for the pain he had caused, acknowledging the disappointment he had inflicted upon his family and the community he once served.
What about the people that he... Okay, never mind.
Casting doubt upon the sincerity of his words. The extremity of his crimes and his steadfast maintenance of innocence throughout the trial left many questioning the authenticity of his apology. Daniel Hotzclaw.
Former Oklahoma City police.
Oh, I think I remember this guy. I think I remember this guy.
This is back in 2015.
Fuck this guy. I remember. This is the worst.
Enid, Oklahoma, a city draped in a cloak of tranquility. A sinister presence lurked within the ranks of its police force. Daniel Holtzclaw, born on a December day in 1986 in the distant shores of Guam, was destined for a life of infamy rather than the glory he once sought on the football field. Eric Holtzclaw, a decorated lieutenant in the Enid Police Department, fathered this wayward son who would come to embody the epitome of
This
betrayal and
wayward
depravity.
son. Fathered this wayward
tainted
son.
by the seeds of corruption sown within his own home, set the stage for a dark chapter in the annals of law enforcement.
Yo, this narrator's a W, bro.
High School
I can't lie.
To Daniel's athletic prowess, particularly on the football field where he donned the mantle of a linebacker. It was during a fateful game, shrouded in the cloak of teenage dreams and ambitions, that he etched his name upon the school's records with a remarkable 25 tackles. In that fleeting moment, the world seemed within his grasp, but fate would have a different path in store. Eastern Michigan University beckoned to Daniel, offering the promise of a brighter future. He immersed himself in the study of criminal justice, perhaps seeking redemption for the sins that would soon consume him. In 2010, he emerged from the hallowed halls of academia, clutching a degree, a piece of paper that held not the key to salvation, but the doorway to his descent into darkness.
At least he went to school. Like, most police officers don't even go to school, you know, they just...
Seeking solace in the badge he would wear. Little did the Oklahoma City Police Department know that their newest recruit would prove to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Within the realm of law enforcement,
260-year prison sentence?
Badge. Yet, Daniel Holtzclaw proved to be anything but a worthy custodian of that trust. The walls of justice crumbled as he was
That's gotta be a high score, man.
Unspeakable crimes he had committed against the vulnerable women of Oklahoma City's impoverished corners. Like a predator stalking its prey, exploiting their vulnerabilities with a perverse cunning. Background checks were his tool, a twisted compass guiding him toward those with outstanding warrants or tarnished records. It was a calculated scheme, a dance of malevolence orchestrated by a man who once wore the uniform of righteousness.
He sounds like a superhero.
You will be remanded to the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff for formal sentencing set January 21st, 2016 at 10 o'clock.
As the gavel struck the wood in that solemn courtroom, The tension in the air was palpable. Daniel Holtzclaw, a former police officer now draped in the shackles of his own making, stood as a shattered embodiment of the ruin he had
Why
wrought.
is he...
18 charges had stained his conscience, and the jury had spoken with an unprecedented verdict, recommending a prison sentence that defied comprehension, an astronomical 263 years.
See, but like, why are you crying? Like, you know what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't understand why this nigga is crying. I don't understand why you're sitting there crying and acting like people are gonna feel bad for you. Nigga, no one feels bad for you. As a matter of fact, we're happy. We're throwing a party.
Body trembling with the weight of his impending fate. In the midst of the courtroom's turmoil, lead detective Kim Davis stood resolute. She had been the guiding force, the unwavering.
He just looks like a menace, bro. I don't like him.
At Holtzclaw's
He looks he looks like one of those trains from Thomas the Tank Engine. Look at his ass.
From the abyss of victimhood, she expressed her satisfaction with the sentence, a sentence befitting the magnitude of the crimes committed.
Yep.
Marcus Eberhardt. Marcus Eberhardt, once a police officer entrusted with upholding the law.
This guy looks like Suge Knight. Look at his ass.
When his use of a taser during an arrest led to the death of 38-year-old William Marshall. This fateful event catapulted Eberhardt into the heart of a legal battle.
He killed him with a taser? What the fuck?
Manslaughter and misconduct in office. Prior to the incident, Eberhardt had served as a police officer for several years. While reports indicated no history of disciplinary action, he had garnered a reputation for being a relatively aggressive officer. Marshall, on the other hand, carried a burden of narcotics abuse and a record of non-violent offenses. As the trial unfolded, a stark revelation emerged. Eberhardt's use of the taser on Marshall had exceeded the boundaries set by departmental policy.
Of
course. The prosecution argued vehemently that Eberhardt had employed excessive force, holding him accountable for Marshall's untimely demise.
Hey, that's how it be, man.
The defense maintained that Eberhardt had followed his
training. The darker the man, the more the
attributing
force.
Marshall's
I mean, that's
death to
just kind of how it
his history
is.
of narcotics use and underlying health conditions. In February 2022, a monumental verdict resonated through the courtroom. Eberhardt stood before the jury, convicted of involuntary manslaughter and misconduct in office, a landmark moment in Michigan's history.
He needs 2 handcuffs because he's fat.
Eberhardt's fate now rested in the hands of the sentencing hearing, scheduled for May 2022. The specter of potential imprisonment loomed, with a maximum sentence of 15 years hanging over his head.
Ooh,
As
for
the verdict
manslaughter?
reverberated through the air, Eberhardt displayed a sense of urgency to leave, his reaction seemingly muted. In contrast, his lawyer expressed disappointment with the decision, grappling with the weight of the outcome.
He got
fate would
15
deliver
years.
An even more resolute blow during the subsequent sentencing hearing, as the judge, recognizing the magnitude of the crime, sentenced Eberhardt to life in prison.
That is a W, judge. That is a W, judge, because he made an example out of that bitch-ass nigga right there. Don't do dumb shit to the beautiful citizens of Atlanta, okay? If you do, your ass gonna end up just like him, in the same cell as him.
Acknowledging the indelible impact they had upon Marshall's family, he offered heartfelt apologies for the pain he had caused, recognizing that no words or deeds could ever bring back their beloved. Assuming full responsibility for his actions, he expressed his earnest prayers for the family to find solace and closure in the face of unimaginable grief.
Bro, can somebody write down some of these words? This guy has an impeccable vocabulary.
Florida, took a grave turn, culminating in a sentence that would forever alter the trajectory of his life. From his humble beginnings as a patrol officer in Ohio to his rise as a chief of police in various towns, Saylor's career was marked by years of service and dedication. However, the specter of perjury would cast a dark cloud over his legacy. In 2014, Saylor found himself embroiled in a case that would unravel the foundation of his professional standing.
What'd he do?
Accused of perjury in a high-profile matter involving a
perjury
resident of Windermere. The allegations centered on the resident's improper expansion of his home. It was during a deposition that Saylor stood accused of lying under oath, a charge that would lead to his subsequent arrest and prosecution. The trial, which took place in 2019, would become the crucible in which Saylor's fate was sealed.
Bro, see, like, he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say the crucible in, like, the way his fate was sealed. He could have just said, yo, this is why he went to jail. This nigga read a whole dictionary before he made this video.
Guilty of perjury, he faced the weight of an 8-year prison sentence. The gravity of the situation was evident in Saylor's visage as he struggled to come to terms with the sentence, requiring assistance to leave the courtroom. In a bid to sway the court towards leniency, he pleaded for a lighter sentence, citing the loss
Yeah, they're
of
not
his
gonna give you
job
that shit, bro.
and the tarnishing
Perjury,
of his
they're not gonna give you
reputation
that
as
shit, bro.
already
Come on now.
significant penalties.
Come on now,
His
man.
attempts to convince the jury of his innocence were met with resistance as the judge passed down the sentence, leaving Saylor visibly displeased and
You look
expressing
like
his
something out of
confusion
Sesame
and
Street
plea for
sitting there
mercy.
asking for a lighter
The weight
sentence,
of his
bro. Come
role
on now,
as a
man.
single father and his past service to Florida loomed large, adding further complexity to an already tumultuous moment.
You're
In
done.
a statement issued through
You're
his
done.
attorney, Saylor maintained his steadfast stance of innocence while condemning the justice system that had brought him to this point.
But you abused the justice system. What are you condemning the justice system for?
His conviction was a result of prosecutorial misconduct and the judge's failure to hold the prosecutor accountable.
What?
Saylor expressed regret for the toll his convictions had taken on his family, particularly his wife, who had stood by his side throughout the arduous legal proceedings. While
That's not
acknowledging
true.
his
She's definitely
fallibility
cheating.
and mistakes, he maintained that
She
he
definitely
had
cheating
always
on your
acted
ass,
in
bro.
good faith as a police officer. Derek Chauvin.
This video would not be completed without this motherfucker show. Of course he had to show up.
It's a very sobering moment when Derek Chauvin, former police officer, stands up, puts his hand behind his back, is handcuffed, and is let out.
No reaction from Derek Chauvin throughout most of the...
In the annals of American history,
God, I hate
few
this guy
names
so
resonate
much.
with such a potent mixture of
God,
rage,
this guy is so
grief,
disgusting.
and seething controversy as that of Derek Chauvin. This former Minneapolis police officer, whose chilling involvement in the tragic demise of George Floyd ignited
Yeah.
a firestorm of nationwide outrage, forever etched his name in the somber annals of police brutality and racial injustice.
Yeah,
Chauvin's
bro.
fateful journey commenced in the Twin Cities area, where he grew up, honing the characteristics that would ultimately define his place in infamy. Park High School in Cottage Grove witnessed his athletic prowess as he took to the football
Park
field,
High School.
embodying the warrior spirit as a player for the school's team. Yet, the shadows that lurked within him soon cast a foreboding pall over his promising future. Normandale Community College became his harbor of knowledge,
So is that where he learned to suffocate people to death, or?
seeking to safeguard a society that would soon tremble under his cold gaze. In 2006, he emerged with a bachelor's degree, a symbolic badge of authority that would pave the path to his ultimate downfall. The Minneapolis Police Department opened its doors to Chauvin in 2001, blissfully unaware of the darkness that lay dormant within their newest recruit. His rise
Goddamn.
through the ranks was swift, assuming the role of a field training officer in 2008. Yet, beneath the veneer of service and protection, a sinister undercurrent coursed through the veins of his career. A litany of complaints, 18 in total, stained Chauvin's tenure on the force.
This is what I don't understand.
However,
He had
the arms of
18
justice proved
complaints.
feeble, with
He had
only 2
18
resulting in any
complaints.
semblance of disciplinary action. A mosaic of use of force incidents painted a disturbing picture, culminating in a fatal encounter in 2017, where
God,
Chauvin was
man.
among the officers responsible for ending the life of a suspect. But it was on that fateful day, May 25, 2020, that Chauvin etched his name into the collective conscience of a nation. Answering a call regarding a purported counterfeit bill, he, alongside 3 other officers, crossed paths with George Floyd, an unsuspecting 46-year-old black man. Handcuffed and helpless, Floyd found himself prone on the unforgiving asphalt
Bro.
as Chauvin's knee pressed mercilessly upon his neck, compressing his life force for an agonizing 9 minutes and more.
God
Floyd's
damn,
desperate
bro.
pleas for breath mingled with the cries of onlookers, a symphony of pain that would forever haunt the depths of America's soul. His final breath escaped him, and he was lost to this world, a symbol of the
God
injustices
damn,
that continue
bro.
to plague our society. In a courtroom charged
This
with
guy's
detention,
such a piece of shit.
jury
How the
rendered their
hell, and
verdict,
bro, where the
guilty
hell
on
did he
all
learn
3
to like
charges.
put his knee on?
Bail
Like,
became an
oh my
illusion,
God.
a fleeting concept as Chauvin was promptly remanded into custody, his freedom stripped away. On that fateful day, June 25th, 2021, the gavel fell, pronouncing a sentence of 22.5 years in prison.
Yeah, that shit to
albeit
me
with
is
the
not
bitter
enough, bro.
solace of
I feel like
credit
he
for time
deserved more
served.
than that shit.
But Chauvin's
100%.
journey was far from over, as the specter of federal
That
charges
100%.
loomed.
I mean,
The echoes of
put his
Floyd's
knee,
violated
like you
civil rights
slowly
resonating
killed him
through
and
the hallowed
suffocated him to
halls of
death.
justice. A stoic mask adorned Chauvin's countenance as the world watched in anticipation of a
He
shred
looks
of
like one of those
remorse,
creatures
a
from the
flicker
Lord of the Rings too. I
humanity.
hate his face.
Alas, none was to be found. In a brief moment, he removed his mask, offering token condolences to the Floyd family, yet remaining defiantly silent on the depths of his own culpability. Appeals were filed, Cries of a biased jury and an unfair trial echoed through the chambers of justice, challenging the very fabric of the legal system.
Are you
Zachary
serious?
Wester.
This is video from Wester as the verdict was being read. The former Jackson County deputy displayed little emotion as the verdicts were.
Within the heart
What
of
this
Jackson
nigga do?
County, Florida, the twisted
Of
tale
course it happened in
Zachary Wester
Florida.
unfolded, shattering the very fabric of trust that had once bound the community. Behind the facade of a sheriff's deputy, a dark undercurrent surged, fueling an insatiable addiction to power. This addiction, like a poison coursing through his veins, would manifest in a series of shocking abuses of authority.
God damn, I need to know what dictionary this nigga reads all these words from.
Wester's fall from grace.
Shit,
was
I would
swift
get
and
so much
devastating.
hosed.
The seduction of power consumed him, driving him to commit unspeakable acts of misconduct and deception. Multiple charges, each more harrowing than the last, adorned his criminal record. Racketeering, official misconduct, perjury, fabricating
Racketeering?
evidence, and possession of controlled substances marked the path
Oh,
of
this
destruction
guy
he
is
had
a
carved
piece
through
of
the
shit.
lives
What
of
the
innocent
fuck?
victims. On that fateful day, September 7th, 2021, the gavel fell, pronouncing a sentence that aimed to reckon with the depths of Wester's transgressions. 12 years in the cold confines of prison awaited him, a resolute punishment that sought to reflect the magnitude of his crimes.
Don't drop the soap, big homie.
Grappled with the aftermath, yearning for justice, and demanding a system that would hold those in power accountable. The genesis of
I don't
Wester's
understand why all
criminal
these
spree
police
can be
officers,
traced
like,
back
I
to
really don't
2016,
understand why they all
a
go like,
year
well, the
in
justice
which he
system's
began
all
to
messed up.
prey
You
upon
messed it up.
unsuspecting motorists, planting narcotics upon them during seemingly routine traffic stops.
What the
His
fuck?
malevolence remained concealed until a brave driver came forward, shedding light on Wester's sinister actions.
You don't even need to throw this guy in jail. Just put him in a room, put a bonfire in there, lock the door to the room, and just let the bonfire just get bigger and bigger and bigger. He'll either burn or he'll suffocate to death. Either way, you know, will work for me.
Peeling back the layers of corruption that had festered within his heart for years. The truth emerged, and in 2019, Wester was apprehended. His reign of deceit and abuse abruptly halted. A troubled history tainted Wester's background, providing glimpses into the darkness that would later consume him. Prior termination from another law enforcement agency in Florida, a testament to his failure to meet the very standards expected of him, was a mere precursor to the horrors that would
So
unfold in
how the
Jackson
hell
County.
did this?
Yet,
Why would
even
you
in the
take him
face
if he
of
got fired
overwhelming
from
evidence,
there?
Wester clung
What the
desperately
fuck?
to his tattered veil of innocence. He spun tales of being set up, vehemently denying any involvement
Set
in the planting
up?
of illegal substances on unsuspecting victims.
Oh
The
my
courtroom,
God.
a stage set for truth and justice, witnessed his feeble attempts to deflect blame.
Tell it to the judge, buddy. Tell it to the judge. Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
He claimed the narcotics had been present, but denied personal involvement in their placement. The victims of Wester's crimes, a testament to his abuse of power, stood resolute in the courtroom. Their presence bore witness to the horrors they had endured, their voices seeking solace in the pursuit of justice. Eric DeValcanera. This is Eric DeValcanera, a former police detective, found himself at the center of a storm when he was sentenced to 6 years for the fatal assault of Cameron Lamb in 2019.
Oh,
The incident,
of course.
a heart-wrenching chain of events, unfolded against the backdrop of a traffic incident in Kansas City. Responding to
Kansas
the scene,
City.
DeValcanera and his partner, clad in plain clothes and police department vests, entered the backyard of Lamb's home without a legal warrant. In
Of
the midst
course.
of this turbulent encounter, Lamb,
That just
slowly
sounds like
reversing his
something that he
pickup
would do.
truck down a ramp into the basement garage, fell victim to a volley of 4 shots fired by DeValcanera.
Oh
The
my
officer claimed
God.
he saw Lamb reach for a weapon and pointed at his partner.
Of course.
Split-second decision that would forever alter the course of their lives.
It's always like, oh, he's got a gun. He's black. You ever thought that he's just reaching for his TV remote to turn off his TV because maybe he has Netflix on or some shit? He's watching Game of Thrones. You just barged into his room. He had no idea that you were coming into his house. I really don't understand how you just break into his house, no warrant, start pointing guns at him, and you expect him to not be scared. That shit to me is absolutely laughable.
Tragically, Lamb's life was extinguished at the scene, leaving a void of grief and questions in its wake.
Jeez.
The trial that ensued offered a harrowing glimpse into the heart of this fateful encounter. DeValcanera, his voice laden with emotion, narrated the events that unfolded on that ill-fated day, his
God
tears
damn,
serving as a
bro.
testament to the weight of the tragedy. In November 2021, A judge, presiding over a bench trial, delivered a verdict that would reverberate through the halls of justice. Guilty on charges of involuntary manslaughter and armed criminal action, DeValcanera was sentenced to 3 years and 6 years, respectively.
What? That's
To be
it?
served concurrently.
That's
Following the
what?
sentencing, DeValcanera's defense attorneys sought his release during the appeals process. Their plea was granted by Judge James Dale.
There's
Youngs,
no
who deemed
way.
incarceration unnecessary at this stage.
What?
DeValcanera, as he heard the sentence pronounced, held his hand at the desk, his visage etched with shock and disbelief. For the grieving family of Cameron Lamb, the verdict provided a measure of closure, albeit tinged with the eternal pain of loss.
Oh my
Lori Bay,
God.
Lamb's mother, deemed the decision fair, yet acknowledged that the anguish she bears will not dissipate. Akil Bay, Lamb's stepfather, expressed his hope that the sentence would serve as a catalyst for change within the Kansas City Police
But
Department,
he only got
urging a
six.
reckoning with
What?
the systemic
What do you
issues
mean?
that continue to plague law enforcement. This incident,
This
like so
nigga
many
should get
others
at
before,
least
has
50
ignited a
years.
firestorm of debate, shedding light on the pervasive issues of police brutality and racial profiling that plague the United States.
Nah, you
The
gotta make an
disproportionate
example out of
impact such
somebody, bro.
violence
Why
on
not
Black
just make this
Americans
nigga the
serves as a
example?
grim reminder of the deeply entrenched systemic racism that continues to permeate
It's
law
insane.
enforcement institutions across the country.
It's like, oh, he's reaching for a gun. He's reaching for a gun. Like, no, motherfucker, I'm just reaching for my water bottle. I'm
Has
thirsty.
become a focal
Like,
point of
what?
contention. Many assert that this was merely an excuse for excessive force, contending that non-lethal methods should have been employed to subdue.
Yeah, I
Lamb.
mean, well, if you can't
fact
beat
that
your
Lamb
wife,
was
you might as well
slowly
take it out on
reversing his
the
truck into a
innocent
garage
black man that
suggests
you're
the
barging
immediate
into the room
threat,
of.
raising questions about the necessity of resorting to deadly force without exhausting alternative avenues. Aaron Dean. The name Aaron Dean became etched in the annals of American
God,
police
you ever notice, like,
misconduct
all
in
of their
2019,
hairlines just all the way
when his
fucked
actions
up, man.
forever altered the life of Tatiana Jefferson and ignited a national conversation on police
Is
brutality.
this is just a common
As a
trend of
former
like
police
there? I
officer
haven't
in
seen
Fort Worth,
not
Texas,
one
Dean
crisp
found
hairline
himself at
yet.
the center of a fateful incident that unfolded in the early hours of October 12th, 2019. Responding to a non-emergency call for a wellness check on Jefferson's mother's home, Dean arrived at the scene. In a tragic turn of events, he shot and killed the 28-year-old woman who had been staying at the residence and caring for her nephew. The repercussions of that moment reverberated far and wide, laying bare the systemic flaws in law enforcement. Before his tenure in the Fort Worth Police Department, Dean had worked as a detective, ensuring public safety within the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport Department. Throughout his career, he had maintained a clean record, free from disciplinary issues. However, the events that unfolded that night would shatter that facade and expose the violation of several departmental policies, including those regarding the use of force and de-escalation. Following the shooting, Dean resigned from his position with the Fort Worth Police Department. Yet,
Resigned?
accountability caught up with him as he was subsequently arrested and charged. In August 2021, a Tarrant County jury delivered a guilty verdict, albeit on the lesser charge. Under Texas law, the offense carried a potential penalty of 2 to 20 years in prison. During the sentencing hearing, held on October 14th,
like, what?
2021,
2 to 20 years?
family members of Tatiana Jefferson addressed Dean, expressing the profound grief and loss they had endured. Ashley Carr, Jefferson's sister, eloquently described her as a blossoming flower and spoke on behalf of their mother, who had passed away prior to Dean's conviction. As the judge announced Dean's sentence of 11 years and 10 months in prison, a term longer than typical under Texas law, the former officer showed no visible emotion. Such stoicism may be interpreted in various ways. Some seeing
like,
it
yeah,
as
I
a
did
lack
it.
of remorse or comprehension
Like, yeah, I
of the
did it.
gravity of his actions.
And I ain't
Others might
ashamed.
argue
It's like
that
he's
Dean
one
sought
of
to
those. He's
maintain
one of those that would say
composure
that.
in an emotionally charged environment. Unraveling the true nature of his demeanor during the sentencing remains.
He don't give
an
a fuck. Look
enigma.
at his face.
Dean's sentence of 11 years and
He's
10
like, yeah,
months
and
in
I'd do it
prison
again.
includes the possibility of parole once he has served half of his term.
That
The
is
court proceedings
crazy.
also shed light on his knowledge of
So he's
police
gonna be out in like
regulations,
5.5
revealing
years.
a troubling lack of understanding and competence that calls into question his suitability for the role of a law enforcement officer.
You know, I read something where it was like, it takes 6 years to become a lawyer. And the lawyers only practice the law. It takes 6 months to become a police officer and they enforce the law. You see the difference there? The lawyer is spending 6 years to practice law. The police officer is spending 6 months enforcing the law, even though most of them don't even know the laws at all.
Charlie Reeder.
Your Honor, please do not send me to prison. I have roamed, but I'm not ruined. I still have a lot of good.
In the depths of Pike County, Ohio, a former sheriff found himself entangled in a web of criminal accusations that would forever tarnish the reputation of the office he once held.
Is this nigga drinking Mountain Dew?
The seeds of suspicion were sown in 2019 when whispers emerged of the sheriff's alleged misdeeds. It was believed that he had siphoned funds from narcotic busts to fuel his insatiable gambling addiction.
Oh my God, this nigga is a piece of
the
shit.
Accusations could not be ignored.
Oh my God.
His actions by claiming to have used the
He
cash for
took
the
drug
benefit of the
money
community
to go to
fell
the
upon
casino?
incredulous ears. Readers saw through the veil of deceit, recognizing the hollowness of his excuse in the face of mounting evidence.
This nigga took the drug money to go to Vegas and gamble.
Charges loomed large, casting a damning shadow over his once pristine reputation. The evidence presented left little room for doubt, revealing that the stolen funds had been used for personal gain.
Nah, this is the worst one. Nah, this is the worst one.
Money as community support only served to further erode the faith placed in him by the very
this is like some Alonzo Harris training day type shit, bro. This guy is sick.
The sheriff took to the stand, his voice choked with emotion. Tears welled in his eyes as he implored the judge for leniency, taking responsibility for his transgressions.
And you get an extra 4 years because that hairline just looks disgusting. I give all these guys an additional 4 years just because of that hairline. Their hairlines are all disgusting.
A last-ditch effort to escape the clutches of imprisonment. However, the judge remained unmoved by the sheriff's emotional speech, armed with a question that struck at the heart of the matter. With unwavering resolve, the judge demanded an explanation for the discrepancy between the denominations of the money the sheriff claimed to have used for community support and those that had been taken from the crime scene or the individuals involved.
Bro, so nobody saw him taking the money from the crime scene? Nobody saw this?
For personal gain, and his pitiful attempts at saving face crumbled before the scrutiny of justice. The gavel fell with resolute finality, delivering a sentence that sought to reflect the magnitude of the sheriff's crime.
How much he get?
6.5 years of prison time awaited him.
That's it?
Rebuke for theft in office. That's it? Yet the counts would run concurrently.
Put an extra 0!
3 years behind bars.
Put an extra 0 behind that, judge! This just goes to show you, anybody can be a piece of shit, man. Like, there's pieces of shit everywhere. These guys just so happen to have guns and badges. Anyways, this was good. I quite enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like the video. If you guys have not liked the video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, okay, we are on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Almost forgot. 20,000 subscribers. So everybody subscribe to the channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel, like the video. Some of you guys are not liking the video, man. I'm watching you, okay? I'm watching you. Everybody like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all the love and appreciate all the support, man. Leave a comment down below on what you want me to react to in the future. And on that note, I will see y'all in the next video.
See just how I'm coming, yeah, I did this on my own. Don't you tell me something, cause I did it all alone. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. Came up from the guys and niggas showed me some respect. Niggas mad cause I ain't break them off on all these checks. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah. You ain't helping nothing, no, nah.